Everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is that time of year again. It is the time for the Sylvie sale at Chantecaille. I am lucky enough once again to have an early access code for y'all to shop 25% off site-wide, including Philanthropy Collection. That code is Mandy25 and the early access starts today. So you will be able to shop with this code 3 days before the public. I will have all of the dates listed down below. And these are honestly some of my favorite videos to film every year because I love being able to use all Chantecaille products in a video, because no matter when or what I use when it comes to Chantecaille, it always ends up being a pretty look. I always like how it ends up. I also want to show you this beautiful bucket bag from Chantecaille. It says Chantecaille right here in the leather. And this is going to be a gift with purchase during the sale if you spend $600 total in the US, $780 total in Canada. So I just wanted to show you this. It is ample room, an adjustable strap. I love this bag. They always come out with great bags. This might be one of my favorites. So I wanted to let you know about that as well as a gift with purchase. So if you want to see how I got this full face of Chantecaille so that you can shop the Sylvie sale, let's get started. Let's start by covering up these dark circles with the Camouflage Stilo Anti-Fatigue Corrector Pen. I am in the shade number 3, which is the perfect shade when I want to use this as a corrector because it has a little bit of a peachy undertone. This is not a high coverage product. If you have very light under eyes, like you don't have a lot of genetic dark circles like I do, you could definitely use this as your only concealer. Or if you have dark circles like I do and you just don't care to have a super full coverage, you just want something that's going to even them out a little bit, this is also a great product. It is perfect for dry under eyes. It's moisturizing without being too emollient, so it's not going to like move around. I have used many of these over the years and for good reason. I always try to mix it up when I do these Sylvie sale videos for fear of not being too repetitive, even though it's been a year since I did my last one. So today I'm gonna do it a little bit different, and I'm gonna do a form of underpainting in a way of warming up the skin before I apply the foundation, not necessarily to contour. I'm gonna use the anti-aging face tint in bronze. I also have the rose face tint, which is definitely a more highlight type of product, which can be used as a primer, same as this. Mixed in with foundations, I absolutely adore mixing the two. I did that in one of my Chantecaille videos. So I'm gonna take some of this and basically paint it on the areas where I typically put my bronzer. Now, obviously it looks like I'm going heavy, but as this blends out, you'll see that it really does just warm up the skin versus making it look way too dark. And because it's so sheer and blends so nicely, I don't have to be really precise with it. Again, I'm not contouring. This is really gonna be covered up with a light foundation. I just want to warm up my face a little bit in preparation for that. So again, this can be used as a bronzer on top of your foundation, can be used like I'm using it today. It can be used mixed in with the foundation. It can be used as a primer. It can be used as a foundation depending on your skin tone. So many different ways to use this. I mean, that right there, I feel like way more put together now that I've given a little bit of dimension and warmth to my skin. Now I'm going to use, y'all, I love this so much. And I'm so glad that they have started to include the Philanthropy products in the sales so that more people can get their hands on this because it is such a beautiful foundation. The Chantecaille Future Skin Cushion Foundation. It is in my top 5 liquid foundations. I just posted about that not long ago. I love it so much. It does come with like a little pad to press it in. I prefer using a sponge. I'm in the shade Nude. I'm gonna take a damp beauty sponge, put some product on it, and I'm really going to focus that more on the areas where I didn't put that bronzer. So kind of below it, maybe a little bit above it, but not even that much above it because I'm going to be using concealer too, just to kind of even out the areas that I haven't put product on yet. And when you use that bronze face tint first, you find you need way less product of foundation. And again, I'm not even going to go above because I'm gonna have concealer there. So I just put it down on the bottom perimeter of my face, a little bit on my upper lip, some on my nose, and just right below where I applied the bronzer up top, on my forehead. Y'all know what I mean. This is probably one of the most blurring foundations that I have in my collection. It's also one that when you first get it and put it on, you're gonna be like, did it really do anything? But then you realize when you look at your face, yeah, it did something. It did something kind of magical. I have loved this ever since it launched. I will continue to love it. It's near perfection for me. Another foundation that I absolutely love from Chantecaille as a foundation, but especially as a concealer, and I will try not to over elaborate on this because I've been talking about it now for 2 years. In fact, I think it was the Sylvie sale 2 years ago. It was either the Sylvie sale or the Black Friday sale that I tried this in the video initially, the Future Skin Gel Foundation as a concealer, and fell head over heels in love with it. Finished a whole jar as a concealer, probably 90% of it used as concealer, 10% as foundation. And I have not stopped loving it. I have yet to find a concealer that works better for me. Even though this is not marketed for a concealer, it's a great tip to use one of your favorite foundations as one to see if you find a new favorite. There are no rules that say you cannot use your foundation as concealer. So I am in the shade Vanilla, and there's no real rhyme or reason for this. I'm just going to tap a little bit through the eyes. And again, see how it's covering right down here? So that's why I didn't put any foundation there, because there's really no need to when I'm gonna put concealer on top to basically meet that bronze face tint that I applied earlier. And then I just blend it out with a brush. Make sure there's no lines. And again, I just haven't found a concealer for me that wears better. It's pretty perfect for my under eyes. Before I set anything down, I am going to use a cream blush. So Chantecaille has, well, this is actually a liquid blush. They have liquid blushes that come like this, and then they also have powder blushes in this compact. I am actually using the new Sunstone blush in a future video. I think it's gonna be the one coming up next week. Spoiler alert, I love it. I have the one in Energy, which is the peachy color. And these are just the regular Philanthropy blushes, which are now included in the sale. I think I'm gonna use the liquid. I have 2 shades. I have Happy, which is probably my favorite, and I also have Lively. And you're gonna be like, what? Lively is not your favorite? Because it's more of the warm peachy, which I tend to gravitate towards. So that's Happy and that's Lively. I like them both. Let's not misunderstand. I do enjoy both of these colors a lot. Happy is just happy to me. I just tend to gravitate towards it, and I'm gonna use it today because I'm gonna be going a little bit cooler toned on the eyes. You don't have to be precise with this. I think this is another reason I love Chantecaille products so much, especially their complexion products, because you don't have to be perfect at makeup to have them look good on your skin. They just blend themselves almost. You can build these up to have a little bit more color. And if you can see, due to the nature of the liquid cream aspect of gel aspect of this blush, it really kind of gives its own highlight on the skin. And as long as you don't cover that up with like a mattifying powder, you really don't need to add a separate highlight. There are a few different powder options at Chantecaille, and I have the majority of them. I might be missing one. The first is the HD Perfecting powder. I really like this one. This one is more of a matte finish on me. And I don't want to say flat matte. It just is not glowy by any means. If you want glowy, definitely go with the HD Perfecting Loose powder. This is in the shade Candlelight, and it does have a glowy finish to it. And it comes with its own built-in brush, so good for travel too. The powder, or the compact makeup, is their powder foundation, which I absolutely adore on its own. As to set other foundations, doesn't matter how I use it, I love it. And then they have their Perfect Blur finishing powder. Now this is a limited edition compact from a collection they did last year, couple years ago, but it's the same product. So this is a blurring powder. They call it a finishing powder, but I use it to set and it works great. And because I've used so many cream products, I really don't want to take away a ton of that pretty finish. I just want to set a little bit. So I'm going to take this with the Buff and Blur brush from Chantecaille. This is in the shade Light Medium, by the way. And I'm basically going to stipple that powder in the areas that I want to take down the shine, which is in the T-zone. Around my nose, a little bit down here, chin, upper lip, and then just a little bit on my forehead. And to finish off the complexion, I'm gonna spritz the Pure Rose Water Mist. This is the Eau de Rose de Mai. It's a special 25-year bottle, but it's their rose water mist. Just to give some added hydration, kind of set everything down. All right, let's move into the eyes. Super simple, super quick, but I am gonna feature some products that I haven't featured before as far as color. Now, I've featured these products in the past. I just haven't spoken about these particular colors. And the first is the Luster Glide eyeliner. Jasper is like my favorite. It's one of my favorite eyeliners in general. I really love the brown bronzy color of Jasper. I also have the black one. I can't remember what that's called. This one is Violet Damask. I'm not great at pronouncing things, y'all. I'm just not. And I'm gonna be, again, going cool tone. So I wanna start using this more violet purple eyeliner. Now it's still pretty dark, but it may be harder to see on camera, but it is definitely violet. It's just not a bright purple. So I'm laying that down and smudging it out. This is not gonna be a new technique. It's one that I use probably 50% of the time when I'm using eyeliner. I'm smudging it out and up just to give that definition at the eyeline, but not having it super precise or sharp. But these are perfectly named because they do just glide on the eye. You do have some playtime to blend them out, which I appreciate, but once they set, and I don't have issue with them moving around. And then I'm gonna take a mermaid eye color, and this is new to my collection. This is in the shade Starfish, and it is a beautiful purple taupe shade. I will swatch this one as well as all the other ones that I have. So I personally have 5 total in my collection. The first one is Seashell down here, which is like a champagne-y type shade. Then there is Starfish, which is the one I'm gonna use today. Triton, which is this beautiful like greenish iridescent shade. Oh, I love that shade so much, especially with a peach shadow in the crease. Oh, perfection. This is Sylvie, which is a matte shade. And while it looks more neutral, maybe even slightly leaning warm on the swatch, it definitely pulls cooler on my eyes. And then this is Copper, which I just recently showcased in my favorite one and done eyeshadows. All of these could be considered a favorite one and done. Copper is probably my favorite, but I love them all so much it's hard to choose. But again, we are going to be using Starfish today. So I'm gonna start by applying it with a brush. This is the Rephr number 32 brush. And I'm placing it kind of above that eyeliner. Doesn't matter if that's so pretty. It doesn't matter if it gets on it some, but I still want that little bit of extra definition to show through. So I'm not gonna intentionally cover it up. And see, I'm kind of just like pressing it in. I'm not swiping it. If I were to swipe it, it would blend it out so much that I would lose some of the pigment. And that's fine if you don't want it to be this pigmented. But if you do wanna keep this level of opacity, then stippling it in is gonna be the way to go. And then I'm gonna take the tiniest bit of Seashell on a much smaller brush, Rephr 28, and I'm going to place that right in the middle. Again, not on the eyeliner, just kind of in the middle of the eye to brighten it up some, but still not take away from that purple. And then I went and put a tiny little, very thin line of eyeliner right at the base of my lash line. So it's almost a gradient. You've got the liner, and then you've got the smudged out liner, and then you've got the shadow. And just for fun, as I'm sitting here doing it as I go, I'm gonna take some of Triton, because I just love that shade so much, and put it underneath. Let's put on some lips before we do mascara because I just feel kind of bare. I'm gonna be using the Lip Chic. I love the Lip Chic formula. Anytime there is, I love the lip veils too. Anytime there is a limited edition Lip Chic or lip veil, I want it. Like, they just come out with the prettiest colors. This one is in the shade Camellia, which is a beautiful cool tone pink, right up my alley, and really gonna pull this look together well. These are moisturizing. They basically apply like a balm. Because they're moisturizing, I'm not gonna get a long, huge wear time out of them, but I don't feel like they disappear within an hour, and they give just the right amount of color payoff for me. I don't like something that's super opaque or super bright, so this formula is perfect because I don't even feel like I need to put a gloss on top of it. It has enough shine on its own. I will do mascara off camera, but it is for sure the Chantecaille Longest Lash Faux Cils Mascara. This is pretty much still in my #1 spot. I can't tell you how many of these I've gone through. I love them so much. It's a great time to take advantage of the sale because it is an expensive mascara, but it just makes my lashes look so good. So I'm gonna do that off camera, and then we'll come back to finish off with fragrance. So just to put 2 coats of the Longest Lash Faux Cils. I just love it. I love it a lot. And we're gonna finish up with fragrance. And this is my favorite fragrance from Chantecaille. I've talked about it a lot. It's called Frangipani, and it is so rich. It has orange, violet leaves, and water hyacinth on the top, muguet, frangipani, ylang ylang, jasmine, vanilla musk, cedarwood, and amber. What I get is a very rich, sweet frangipani flower with a little bit of that vanilla coming through. I don't get a ton of jasmine. I can tell it's there, but it's not like a jasmine forward fragrance. This is 1000% frangipani flower. It is tropical. It is perfect for this time of year. Highly recommend it. Honestly, I don't think Chantecaille fragrances are talked about enough, especially that one. So that is it. That is my full face of Chantecaille in preparation for the Sylvie sale, which again, you can now shop early access using my code Mandy25 for 25% off site-wide, including philanthropy, which I'm just so excited about. So I will have my link and my code down in the description box below. Let me know if you have any questions. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.